What if a coin you ignored as worthless pocket change, a simple 1-cent piece from 2014 with a small d mint mark, could actually hold hidden value far beyond its face value just because of tiny errors you cannot see without close inspection? What if a modern Lincoln penny, something produced in billions, still carried rare mistakes, minting anomalies, and striking variations that collectors are actively searching for right now? Today we uncover the hidden truth behind the 2014 D Lincoln penny, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance but can become surprisingly valuable depending on condition, errors, and subtle minting variations that most people never notice. The 2014 D Lincoln cent belongs to one of the most famous and longest-running coin series in United States history, the Lincoln Cent series that began in 1909. By 2014, this coin had already gone through more than a century of design changes, metal composition changes, and production technology improvements. Yet even with advanced minting systems at the Denver Mint, mistakes still occurred, and those mistakes are what collectors study today. The 2014 D penny was struck at the United States Mint facility in Denver, indicated by the small d mint mark located on the obverse side of the coin just below the year 2014. This coin is part of the modern Lincoln Shield reverse design era, which began in 2010. On the reverse side, instead of the Lincoln Memorial seen on earlier cents, the coin features a Union Shield design symbolizing unity and national strength. This design was created to honor the preservation of the United States as a single union, and it continues to be used in circulation today. In terms of composition, the 2014 D Lincoln cent is made of a zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper. This means it is not solid copper like early Lincoln cents from before 1982. The copper plating gives the coin its traditional appearance, but underneath it is mostly zinc, which is lighter and cheaper to produce. This change in composition is one reason why modern pennies generally have very low intrinsic metal value compared to older coins. At face value, the 2014 D Lincoln cent is worth exactly 1 cent. In normal circulated condition, even today, most of these coins remain worth only their face value. They are extremely common because the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of them in 2014 to meet circulation demand across the United States. Most of these coins entered everyday use in commerce, meaning they were spent, handled, and worn down over time. However, even though they are common, not all 2014 D pennies are exactly the same. This is where the concept of mint errors, die varieties, and grading differences becomes important. Within billions of coins produced, small imperfections naturally occur during the minting process. These imperfections are what collectors refer to as mint errors, and they can sometimes turn an ordinary penny into a collectible item worth significantly more than face value. One of the most commonly discussed features in modern Lincoln cents is strike quality. A coin is struck when a blank planchet is pressed between two dies under high pressure. If the pressure, alignment, or die condition is not perfect, the resulting coin may show weak details, misaligned designs, or unusual surface characteristics. In the case of the 2014 D penny, some examples may show weak strikes where Lincoln's portrait or the shield details are not fully sharp. Another area of interest is die chips and die cracks. Over time, the metal dies used to strike coins wear down and develop cracks or small breaks. When this happens, extra metal can flow into these cracks during striking, creating raised lines or blobs on the finished coin. Some 2014 D Lincoln cents may show small die chips in letters, numbers, or design elements. While minor die chips are usually not extremely valuable, larger or more dramatic ones can attract collector attention. There are also possibilities of double die varieties. A double die occurs when the design on the die itself is accidentally duplicated during the hubbing process, causing elements of the design to appear doubled on every coin struck by that die. In modern sense, like the 2014 D, major double die errors are relatively rare, but minor forms of doubling can still be found under magnification, especially on lettering such as Liberty or In God We Trust. Another type of variation that collectors examine is strike-through errors. This happens when foreign materials such as grease, dust, or small metal fragments get between the die and the coin during striking. As a result, parts of the design may appear missing, blurry, or filled in. In some cases, strike-through errors can be visually dramatic and can increase collector interest, depending on how noticeable the effect is. Off-center strikes are another error type that can occur, although they are less common in modern high-speed minting processes. An off-center strike happens when the coin blank is not properly aligned in the press, causing part of the design to be missing while another part is shifted. The value of an off-center strike depends heavily on how much of the design is missing and whether the date is still visible. Clipped planchets can also appear in 2014 D Lincoln Cents. A clipped planchet occurs when the metal blank is not properly cut from the metal strip, resulting in a coin with a missing curved section or straight clip. These errors are caused during the blanking process before striking and are considered genuine mint errors. Depending on size and shape, clipped planchets can have moderate collector value. Despite all these potential errors, it is important to understand that the vast majority of 2014 D pennies do not contain significant mint mistakes. Most coins found in circulation are standard strikes with no visible errors and remain worth only their face value. This is because modern minting technology is highly efficient, and error rates are relatively low compared to older historical coinage. Where value really begins to change is in coin condition. The grading system used by collectors evaluates coins based on their level of wear and overall eye appeal. Circulated coins are graded lower and usually remain near face value. Uncirculated coins, especially those with strong luster and no visible wear, can begin to carry small premiums. Coins graded in high mint state levels, such as MS-65 or above, can sometimes be worth several dollars depending on market demand. Even though the 2014 D penny is not considered rare in general, certain high-grade examples are actively collected by enthusiasts who specialize in modern Lincoln cents. These collectors look for coins with sharp details, strong luster, and minimal marks from the minting or circulation process. The better the visual quality of the coin, the more desirable it becomes within the collector market. Another factor that can influence value is roll searching. Many collectors and hobbyists search bank rolls of pennies looking for uncirculated examples, errors, and varieties. Because billions of 2014 D pennies exist, they are still occasionally found in mint condition rolls or coin bags. This ongoing circulation of fresh coins keeps interest alive in modern penny collecting. Market value for a standard 2014 D Lincoln cent remains simple and straightforward. In everyday circulation, it is still worth 1 cent. Even in lightly circulated condition, it remains essentially face value. In uncirculated condition, values may range slightly higher, often between a few cents to a couple of dollars depending on quality. Only under special circumstances such as certified high-grade examples or verified mint errors does the value increase significantly. For example, a 2014 D penny with a strong strike, full luster, and high mint state grading from a professional grading service can attract collectors willing to pay a premium. If the coin also shows a recognized mint error, such as a clear double die or major strike through, its value can increase further based on rarity and demand. However, it is important to be realistic in understanding modern coin values. Unlike ancient coins or rare early U.S. pennies, modern coins like the 2014 D Lincoln cent are not rare in quantity. Their potential value comes almost entirely from condition and error status rather than scarcity in production. The historical significance of the Lincoln cent series also adds collector interest. Abraham Lincoln remains one of the most respected figures in American history, and his portrait on the penny has made this coin one of the most recognizable in the world. Even modern versions like the 2014 D continue that legacy, keeping the design alive in everyday commerce. Over time, many people overlook modern pennies and assume they have no collectible value. However, the coin collecting community continues to show that even recent coins can hold surprises. Whether it is a minor die chip, a rare strike variation, or an exceptionally preserved specimen, the 2014 D Lincoln cent demonstrates that value in numismatics is not always determined by age alone. In circulation today, most people will never notice anything unusual about a 2014 D penny. It passes through hands unnoticed, used for small transactions or stored in jars and drawers. But for collectors who understand what to look for, each coin represents an opportunity. A closer inspection might reveal something unusual, something that transforms an ordinary cent into a collectible piece. In the end, the 2014 D Lincoln penny stands as a reminder that even in the modern age of mass production, perfection is never absolute. Small variations, human errors, and mechanical imperfections continue to exist, and within those imperfections lies the potential for value beyond face value. So while most of these coins will always remain worth just 1 cent, a careful eye, patience, and knowledge of minting errors can sometimes reveal hidden value where others see only ordinary change. What if one of the most common pennies ever made in the United States could secretly be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, simply because of a tiny detail that almost nobody notices? Imagine holding a coin that looks completely ordinary, a simple 1982 D Lincoln penny, yet hidden within its metal could be a rare variation or minting mistake that transforms it from a single cent into a prized collectible. This is not a fantasy or a myth, but a real story rooted in one of the most fascinating transition years in American coin history. The 1982 D Lincoln penny is part of a year that completely changed the composition and production of the 1-cent coin in the United States. Before 1982, Lincoln pennies were primarily made of 95% copper, giving them a heavier and more solid feel. However, rising copper prices forced the United States Mint to make a major shift during 1982. That year, pennies began transitioning to a new composition made mostly of zinc with a thin copper coating. This change created one of the most complex and collectible years in the entire Lincoln cent series. What makes 1982 so unique is that it was not a simple clean switch from one composition to another. Instead, both copper and zinc pennies were struck during the same year. Along with that, different die styles were used, creating what collectors call large date and small date varieties. When you combine composition differences, date size variations, and mint locations, you end up with multiple distinct versions of the 1982 penny, each with its own characteristics and value potential. The Denver Mint, indicated by the D Mint mark on the coin, produced billions of pennies in 1982. Most of these are extremely common and can still be found in circulation today. In typical worn condition, a standard 1982 D penny is worth exactly 1 cent. Even in slightly better condition, most examples only reach a few cents in value. However, this is only the surface of the story. The real intrigue comes from the rare and unusual varieties that emerged during this transition year. Among the known combinations, the 1982 D small date copper penny stands out as one of the most talked about rarities in modern coin collecting. According to the intended production records, the Denver Mint was supposed to produce only zinc small date pennies. However, a small number of copper planchets appear to have been used accidentally with the small date dies, creating a rare and highly valuable error coin. These coins are extremely difficult to find, and only a few confirmed examples are known. When one appears in the market, it can sell for thousands of dollars depending on its condition and authentication. The rarity comes from the fact that this combination was not supposed to exist, making it a true mint error rather than a planned variety. To understand the value differences, collectors often rely on weight as a key indicator. Copper pennies weigh about 3.11 grams, while zinc pennies weigh about 2.5 grams. This small difference is enough to help identify whether a coin is made of copper or zinc. For the 1982D small date variety, finding a coin that matches the heavier copper weight can signal a potentially rare and valuable discovery. Beyond this famous rarity, there are also other factors that influence the value of 1982D pennies. Condition plays a major role, as with all coins. A heavily circulated coin with scratches, wear, and discoloration will usually remain at face value. However, coins that have been preserved in uncirculated condition, showing sharp details and minimal marks, can be worth significantly more. High-grade examples, especially those graded at the upper end of the mint state scale, can reach tens or even hundreds of dollars. Strike quality is another important aspect. Some coins from 1982 were not struck as sharply as others due to the high production volume and changing minting conditions. Coins with crisp details, clear lettering, and well-defined features are more desirable to collectors. Even small improvements in strike quality can lead to noticeable increases in value. Mint errors also contribute to the fascination surrounding the 1982D penny. These errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, creating a coin that is different from the intended design. Examples include off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned, leaving part of the coin blank. These can vary in severity, and more dramatic off-center errors tend to be more valuable. Another type of error is a double strike, where the coin is struck more than once, sometimes resulting in overlapping or distorted images. These errors can be visually striking and are often sought after by collectors. The value depends on how noticeable and unique the error appears. Clipped planchets are another possibility. This occurs when the metal blank is improperly cut, leaving a curved or missing section on the coin. These errors are relatively easy to identify and can add a premium to the coin's value depending on their size and appearance. There are also die-related errors, such as die cracks, die chips, and doubled dies. A doubled die occurs when the design is engraved onto the die more than once at slightly different angles, creating a doubling effect on the coin. While not all doubling is valuable, strong and clear examples can significantly increase a coin's worth. It is important to distinguish between true mint errors and post-mint damage. Many coins found in circulation show signs of wear, environmental damage, or physical impact after leaving the mint. These can include scratches, dents, discoloration, or corrosion. Such damage does not add value and can actually reduce it. True errors, on the other hand, occur during the manufacturing process and are part of the coin's original creation. The market for 1982D pennies reflects this wide range of possibilities. Common coins remain worth 1 cent. Uncirculated examples may range from a few cents to a few dollars. High-grade coins can reach higher values depending on condition and collector demand. Rare varieties like the small date copper error can command prices in the thousands when verified by professional grading services. Authentication is crucial for high-value coins. Because the difference between a common coin and a rare one can be subtle, collectors often rely on professional grading companies to confirm authenticity and assign a grade. This helps establish trust in the market and ensures that buyers and sellers are dealing with genuine items. The story of the 1982 D. Lincoln penny is not just about value, but also about a moment of transition in American coinage. It reflects the economic pressures of the time, the need to reduce production costs, and the challenges of implementing a major change across billions of coins. In the process, it created a unique set of circumstances that continue to intrigue collectors decades later. Even today, people still search through rolls of pennies hoping to find one of these rare variations. The idea that a valuable coin could still be hiding in circulation adds an element of excitement and discovery. It turns an ordinary activity into a treasure hunt, where knowledge and attention to detail can lead to unexpected rewards. In circulation, most 1982 D pennies will continue to pass unnoticed, used in everyday transactions without a second thought. But for those who take the time to examine them closely, there is always the possibility of finding something special. Whether it is a high-grade survivor, an interesting error, or a rare composition variety, each coin has the potential to tell a story beyond its face value. The enduring appeal of this coin lies in its combination of accessibility and mystery. It is easy to find, yet difficult to fully understand without careful study. It challenges collectors to look beyond the surface and appreciate the subtle details that define rarity and value. As time goes on, the number of high-quality examples is likely to decrease as coins are lost, damaged, or worn down through circulation. This gradual reduction can increase the scarcity of preserved coins, adding to their long-term value. At the same time, the known rare varieties will continue to attract attention and demand from collectors around the world. The 1982 D. Lincoln penny stands as a reminder that even the smallest and most common objects can hold hidden significance. It shows how a simple change in metal composition and production methods can create a lasting impact on the world of collecting. And most importantly, it proves that sometimes the most valuable treasures are the ones we overlook every day. So the next time you come across a penny, especially one from 1982 with a D mint mark, take a closer look. Check its weight, examine its date style, and study its details carefully. Because while most are ordinary, a rare few carry a story and a value that goes far beyond 1 cent. What if the next coin you pick up without even thinking could quietly be worth far more than 1 cent, hiding a story of metal, machines, and microscopic mistakes that transform something ordinary into something collectors chase for years? The 1987 D. Lincoln penny is one of those coins that most people overlook, yet within its billions of copies lies a fascinating world where tiny details can mean the difference between face value and surprising worth. The 1987 D. Lincoln cent comes from a period when United States coinage had already undergone one of its most important material changes. Beginning in 1982, the composition of the Lincoln cent shifted from mostly copper to a zinc core coated with a thin layer of copper. This change was made because the cost of copper had risen to the point where producing the coin was becoming more expensive than its face value. By 1987, all Lincoln cents, including those struck at the Denver Mint, were produced using this copper-plated zinc composition. This detail alone plays a role in how these coins age, how they appear today, and how collectors evaluate their condition. The Lincoln cent series itself began in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. By 1987, the obverse still featured Lincoln's portrait designed by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse still carried the Lincoln Memorial design introduced in 1959 by Frank Gasparro. This means the 1987 D penny belongs to the Lincoln Memorial era, a period familiar to millions of Americans who handled these coins daily. In 1987, the Denver Mint produced a massive number of pennies, with mintage exceeding 4.6 billion coins. This extremely high production number is the first reason why most 1987D pennies are not rare. In everyday circulated condition, they are typically worth only 1 cent. Even today, these coins are still commonly found in circulation, in coin jars, and in rolls obtained from banks. However, as with many coins that appear common on the surface, the real story begins when collectors start examining them closely. Condition, errors, and specific strike characteristics can dramatically change the value of an individual coin. While the majority remain face value, a small fraction can command significantly higher prices in the collector market. Condition is one of the most important factors affecting value. Coins are graded on a scale that ranges from heavily worn to perfect mint state condition. A circulated 1987D penny that has spent decades in pockets and transactions will show wear on Lincoln's face, dull surfaces, and possible scratches or discoloration. These coins typically hold no premium value. On the other hand, uncirculated coins that have never been used in commerce can retain their original mint luster, sharp details, and appealing color. Among uncirculated coins, those with bright red surfaces are especially desirable. Copper-plated zinc pennies are categorized by color into brown, red-brown, and red. Red coins, which retain their original mint color with minimal oxidation, are considered the most valuable. A 1987D penny in high-grade red condition can be worth several dollars, and in top grades, it can reach much higher values depending on demand and certification. But condition alone does not create the most exciting possibilities. The true fascination with the 1987D Lincoln cent lies in mint errors and varieties. These are the coins that deviate from the standard production process, often due to mechanical issues, die wear, or human oversight at the mint. These imperfections can transform an otherwise ordinary coin into a collectible piece with a story. One category of error involves die cracks and die breaks. Over time, the steel dies used to strike coins can develop cracks due to repeated use under high pressure. When a cracked die strikes a coin, it leaves raised lines or marks on the coin's surface. Some 1987D pennies show minor die cracks, while others may exhibit more dramatic breaks. These features can add interest and value, especially if they are visually distinctive. Another type of error is doubling. This occurs when the design appears to be duplicated or slightly shifted, creating a doubled image. There are different kinds of doubling, including machine doubling and true doubled dies. Machine doubling is more common and usually does not add much value. True double die varieties are rarer and more desirable, though no extremely famous double die is widely recognized for the 1987D penny. Still, collectors continue to search for subtle examples. Off-center strikes are among the most visually striking errors. These occur when the coin blank is not properly aligned with the die during striking. The result is a coin where part of the design is missing, and the blank area is visible. The value of an off-center 1987D penny depends on how far off-center it is and whether the date and mint mark are still visible. Coins that are significantly off-center while still showing the full date tend to be the most valuable. Clipped planchet errors are another possibility. These occur when the metal blank is improperly cut from the strip, resulting in a coin with a curved or missing section. These errors are easy to identify and can attract collector interest. The size and shape of the clip influence the value. There are also struck-through errors, where foreign material such as grease, debris, or fibers gets between the die and the coin during striking. This can create unusual patterns, missing details, or textured areas on the coin. These errors can range from subtle to dramatic, and their value depends on visibility and uniqueness. A particularly interesting phenomenon in zinc cents like the 1987D is plating issues. Because these coins are made of zinc with a thin copper coating, problems can occur during the plating process. This can result in bubbles, blisters, or areas where the copper layer is missing or uneven. While minor plating issues are common and usually not valuable, more pronounced examples can attract collector attention. Another area of interest involves the mint mark itself. The 1987D penny carries the D Mint mark, indicating it was produced at the Denver Mint. While mint mark errors are less common for this year, collectors still examine coins for unusual placement, size, or shape of the mint mark. Any deviation from the standard appearance could indicate a variety worth studying. Despite all these possibilities, it is important to understand that not every unusual-looking coin is valuable. Many coins found in circulation have been damaged after leaving the mint. Scratches, dents, corrosion, and environmental damage can alter the appearance of a coin but do not increase its value. Distinguishing between true mint errors and post-mint damage is one of the most important skills for collectors. The market for 1987D pennies reflects this balance between commonness and rarity. Most coins remain at face value. Uncirculated examples can be worth a small premium, especially in red condition. High-grade coins certified by professional grading services can reach higher values, particularly if they are among the best-known examples. Error coins, depending on their type and severity, can range from modest premiums to significant prices. A minor error might add a few dollars, while a dramatic off-center strike or major planchet error could bring much more. The exact value depends on collector demand, visual appeal, and overall rarity. The historical context of the 1987D penny also adds to its story. It represents a time when the United States Mint was producing coins at an enormous scale to meet the needs of a growing economy. Automation and efficiency were key priorities, yet even in such a controlled environment, small imperfections still occurred. These imperfections are what collectors seek, turning mass-produced coins into unique artifacts. The Lincoln Cent series continues to be one of the most widely collected in the world. Part of its appeal lies in its accessibility. Almost anyone can start collecting Lincoln pennies by simply checking their change. The possibility of finding something unusual or valuable adds excitement to the process. The 1987D penny, while not rare in general, serves as a reminder that value in coin collecting is not always about age or mintage alone. It is about the combination of condition, rarity, and uniqueness. A coin that millions of people have handled without a second thought can still hold hidden potential. Over time, as more collectors enter the hobby and high-grade examples become harder to find, the market for coins like the 1987D penny may continue to evolve. While it may never reach the legendary status of some earlier rare coins, it still holds a place in the broader story of American coinage. For those who take the time to look closely, study details, and understand the factors that influence value, even a simple 1-cent coin can become a gateway into a much deeper and more rewarding world. The 1987D Lincoln penny is not just a piece of currency, but a small piece of history shaped by economics, technology, and the unpredictable nature of mass production. And somewhere among the billions of coins struck that year, there are still a few waiting to be discovered, carrying tiny differences that set them apart from the rest, quietly proving that even the smallest coin can hold a much larger story. What if the next penny you find in your pocket change is not just a single cent but a hidden treasure worth far more than its face value, quietly waiting to be discovered by someone who knows exactly what to look for? The 1989D Lincoln penny is one of those coins that most people ignore, yet within its copper-plated surface lies a fascinating world of errors, minting quirks, and collector demand that can turn an ordinary coin into something surprisingly valuable. The 1989 D. Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint as part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series first introduced in 1909. This coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that has remained one of the most iconic images in American coinage. By 1989, the composition of the penny had already changed from mostly copper to a zinc core with a thin copper plating, a transition that began in 1982 due to rising metal costs. This means the 1989 D penny is technically a copper-plated zinc coin, weighing about 2.5 grams, rather than the heavier solid copper coins of earlier decades. At first glance, there seems to be nothing extraordinary about the 1989 D penny. Over 5 billion of these coins were minted, making it one of the most common coins in circulation. Because of this high mintage, the majority of these pennies are still only worth their face value of 1 cent when found in everyday circulation. Even today, you can easily find them in change, coin jars, or bank rolls without much effort. However, the true story of the 1989 D penny begins when you look beyond the surface and explore the world of mint errors, die varieties, and condition rarity. While billions were produced, only a tiny fraction exhibit the kinds of unusual characteristics that collectors seek. These small differences can dramatically increase the value of a coin, sometimes turning a 1-cent piece into something worth dozens, hundreds, or even more in the right circumstances. One of the most important factors that influences the value of a 1989 D penny is its condition. Coins that have been heavily circulated typically show wear on the high points of the design, such as Lincoln's hair and the lettering. These worn coins are extremely common and rarely carry any premium. On the other hand, coins that have never entered circulation, known as uncirculated or mint-state coins, can be worth significantly more. These coins retain their original luster, sharp details, and clean surfaces, making them more attractive to collectors. Within the category of uncirculated coins, there is an even more specialized group known as high-grade examples. These coins are graded on a numerical scale, and even a small increase in grade can lead to a large jump in value. For instance, a coin graded MS-63 might be worth only a small premium, while an MS-67 or higher example can command much higher prices due to its rarity in such pristine condition. This is because very few coins survive in near-perfect condition, especially after decades of handling and storage. Another major factor that contributes to the value of the 1989 D penny is the presence of mint errors. Mint errors occur during the production process when something goes wrong, resulting in a coin that differs from the standard design. These errors are highly sought after by collectors because they are unique and often visually interesting. One type of error that can occur is a double die. This happens when the coin's design is impressed more than once in slightly different positions, creating a doubling effect on the lettering or images. While major double die varieties are rare for the 1989 D penny, minor doubling can still be found and may add value depending on its visibility and strength. Another type of error is an off-center strike. This occurs when the blank coin planchet is not properly aligned within the press, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted to one side. Off-center coins are particularly popular among collectors because they are easy to identify and visually striking. The value of such a coin depends on how far off-center it is and whether the date and mint mark are still visible. Clipped planchet errors are another possibility. These occur when the metal strip used to create coin blanks is improperly cut, resulting in a coin with a missing or curved section. These errors can vary in size and shape, and their value often depends on how dramatic the clip appears. Struck-through errors are also found on some 1989 D pennies. These occur when a foreign object, such as grease or debris, gets between the die and the coin during striking. This results in an impression or missing detail on the coin's surface. While some struck-through errors are minor, others can be quite noticeable and desirable to collectors. There are also die cracks and die breaks, which occur when the metal dies used to strike coins begin to wear out or develop fractures. These cracks can appear as raised lines on the surface of the coin and can sometimes form interesting patterns. While minor die cracks are common and may not add much value, larger or more unusual die breaks can be more desirable. One of the most talked about aspects of modern Lincoln pennies is the possibility of transitional errors. Although the major composition change occurred in 1982, collectors still search for unusual planchet errors where a coin may have been struck on the wrong type of metal. While extremely rare, such errors can command very high prices when authenticated. The 1989 D penny also has potential value in its original red color. Copper-plated coins tend to lose their bright red appearance over time, turning brown due to oxidation. Coins that retain their original red color are often labeled as red by grading services and are more valuable than those that have toned to brown or red-brown. The difference in value between a red and brown coin of the same grade can be significant. In the current market, most circulated 1989 D pennies remain worth only 1 cent. However, uncirculated examples can range from a few cents to several dollars depending on condition. High-grade coins, especially those graded MS-67 or higher, can sell for much more, sometimes reaching into the hundreds of dollars. Coins with notable errors or unique characteristics can exceed these values, depending on collector demand and rarity. The reason why such a common coin can have such a wide range of values lies in the principles of supply and demand. While billions of coins exist, very few meet the strict criteria that collectors look for. This creates scarcity within abundance, where only a small percentage of coins are considered desirable. Another important aspect to consider is authentication and grading. Many valuable coins are professionally graded by organizations such as Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company. These services evaluate the condition of a coin and assign it a grade, which helps establish its market value. Coins that are certified by these organizations are often more trusted by buyers and can sell for higher prices. Collectors are also drawn to the historical significance of the Lincoln Penny series. Since its introduction, it has become one of the most widely recognized coins in the world. The 1989 D penny represents a continuation of this legacy, reflecting the economic and technological changes of its time. The use of zinc planchets, the high-speed production processes, and the massive mintages all tell a story of modern coinage in the United States. Even though the 1989 D penny is not rare in the traditional sense, it offers an accessible entry point for new collectors. Anyone can search through their pocket change and potentially find a coin with interesting characteristics. This accessibility is part of what makes coin collecting such a popular hobby. At the same time, experienced collectors continue to study these coins in detail, searching for new varieties and documenting subtle differences in die states and strike quality. The field of numismatics is constantly evolving, and even common coins can reveal new secrets over time. The possibility of finding a valuable error coin in everyday circulation adds an element of excitement and discovery. It transforms a routine activity like checking your change into a treasure hunt, where knowledge and attention to detail can lead to unexpected rewards. In circulation, the vast majority of 1989 D pennies will continue to function as ordinary currency, passing from person to person without a second thought. But among them are coins that stand out, whether due to their condition, their color, or the presence of an error. These coins are the ones that capture the interest of collectors and drive the market for modern coinage. The value of these coins is not fixed but fluctuates based on market trends, collector interest, and the availability of high-quality examples. As more people become interested in coin collecting, the demand for well-preserved and unique coins can increase, potentially driving up prices. Ultimately, the 1989 D. Lincoln penny serves as a reminder that value is not always determined by face value alone. A coin that appears ordinary can hold hidden worth, shaped by factors such as rarity, condition, and historical context. By understanding these factors, collectors can better appreciate the true potential of even the most common coins. So the next time you come across a penny dated 1989 with a small D mint mark, take a closer look. Examine its details, check for errors, and consider its condition. Because while most of these coins are worth only 1 cent, a select few carry a story and a value that go far beyond what meets the eye.